The man's eyes are rolled back. He falls forward, and his radio rolls across the floor. Behind me is an old lady, Mama F, holding a heavy iron pestle. She struck him with the force of a fallen tree. She looked at me from under the bed. Her eyes were cold and sharp. "Go away," she whispered. "Hurry up." I crawled out and pulled Chaik along. The man was groaning on the floor. "Did you hit him?" I asked, trembling. "He is sleeping," she said. "But his brothers are outside. You can't go by land. They have already surrounded the village." "Then where should I go?" I shouted. "Where can I go?" Mama F took my arm. "There is only one place that the village chief's magic cannot reach. A sacred place and an iron gate." She slipped a small piece of paper into my hand. On it there was an address written in pencil. Our Lady of the Rosary Monastery, located in the center of Asaba. The head nun is there. She knows about these matters. "Go on," Mama F said, pushing me towards the back door that opens directly to the river. A small boat was waiting. "Row to the market. Run to the monastery. Tell Sister Agnes that the river has been wounded and that fire cannot burn it." I climbed onto the boat. "Why are you helping me?" I asked, tears stinging my eyes. Mama F looked at Chaik. "Because 20 years ago," she said softly, "the world is so small for my little one. But I am a mother who doesn't know how to save my child." I pushed the boat away from the shore. When I vigorously thrust the oar into the reeds, I heard the sound of a scuffle echoing through the village behind. They found the scar-faced guy unconscious, and the war had begun. I look at the paper in my hand. "Our Lady of the Rosary Monastery. Ask Sister Agnes briefly." I don't know who Sister Agnes is, but I know that if she knew about this, she might know how to put an end to it. I left the boat in the thick mud on the riverbank, pulling Chaik up the slope into the chaotic center of Asaba. The atmosphere here is heavy with the smell of dried fish, drying vehicle exhaust, and human sweat. We move like ghosts through the crowd. I don't look at people's faces. I look at their shoes. I am looking at a person wearing black boots, who is very likely a member of Obina. Every time the distant alarm siren sounds, my heart pounds fiercely in my chest like a trapped bird. I see an Okada driver sitting on his bike, eating grilled corn. "Take me to the monastery," I said, handing him the wet Naira bills, my last money. "Hurry up." He looked at my dirty clothes, then at the money. He didn't ask anything. "Get up, ma'am." We weave through traffic, avoiding tuk-tuks and pedestrians. "We have arrived," the driver shouted over the wind, stopping in front of a large black gate topped with barbed wire. The Holy Rosary Monastery looks more like a fortress than a church. The tall walls, stained by time and rain, are still sturdy. I knock on the small pedestrian gate. "Please, open the door." A small hole opens to look through. A pair of suspicious eyes peeks out. An old man, the gatekeeper. "No begging here. I won't let you in," he muttered, starting to seal the hole. My mother-in-law stepped out of the car, dressed in a pure white outfit. "The hunting trip is just beginning now." I'm not a beggar. I pressed the damp paper that F's mother handed me against the iron bars. "Sister Agnes. I must meet Sister Agnes. It's an urgent matter." The gatekeeper hesitated. He looked at the paper, then at Chaik leaning against my leg. "Wait." The moments pass like hours. I stand with my back to the gate, looking out onto the street. A black SUV drives by slowly. The tinted windows. My breath catches. Fortunately, it doesn't stop. Finally, the lock clicked loudly. The heavy gate creaked open just enough for us to squeeze through. I stepped inside, and the noise outside disappeared. The quiet campus, the neatly trimmed green lawns, white statues, and the heavy silence, like the atmosphere before a storm. "Follow me," the gatekeeper muttered, locking the world behind us tightly. He led us to a small office building. The air conditioner was making noise. Sitting behind a simple wooden table is a woman dressed in black. She is writing in her notebook. She doesn't look up immediately. "Did you call me?" Her voice was calm and precise. The English version sounded polite, like that of a boarding school. "Miss Agnes?" I asked, my voice trembling. "F's mother sent me," she said. "She said you know the O'Keefe family." The pen stopped moving. Slowly the nun looked up. I am gasping for breath, as if I am seeing my husband. That sharp nose, jaw, forehead. Nothing different. But Abina's face is now wrinkled with greed and decay, while her own is smooth and beautiful. She stood up. She is tall. I know this family, she said softly, because I am a part of that family. She walks around the table and looks at Chike. She does not touch him, just lean in close, breathe in the air near him. He smells like a temple, she said, and like a river. They tried to sacrifice him, I cried, kneeling down. Obina, he swore. But I broke that vow. I threw away the money. I ran. Did you throw away the money? Agnes looked at me, her eyes slightly widened. That's right. But Obina is turning into a monster. And he wants Chike to come back to finish it. Sister Agnes went to the window. She pulled the curtain aside and looked at the tall walls. Obina has always been a weak person, she muttered. Let's start this matter. He sold our piece in exchange for a contract in the 80s. When he passed away, the debts were passed on to his children. I ran to this monastery to escape. Obina ran to the temple to continue. She turned back towards me. You are safe here, Nika. The entity that owns your husband cannot pass through that gate. It is sacred ground. How long? I asked. He has a gun. The gun is not effective against what is coming for him, Agnes said seriously. But you can't stay here forever. The curse no longer just wants the boy. It desires balance. What is being balanced? I asked. Obina sold his soul to get money. You kept the boy. Now he will collect the debt. Suddenly, the monastery's bell started ringing kang kang. It's not prayer time now. The gatekeeper rushed into the room, looking pale. Sister, there's a man at the gate. He's not normal. Does he have weapons? Agnes asked. No, sister, he is alone. He is kneeling in the middle of the street. He is shouting his name. Agnes looked at me. Come on, she said. We went to the gatehouse. We did not open the gate. We looked through the security window. Obina is there. He is kneeling on the asphalt, right in front of the monastery's crucifix. His expensive outfit was torn. His white hair was falling out in clumps. His face was swollen and had black ulcers when we observed. He is not shouting at us. He is shouting into the air around him, slapping at invisible flies. Nika, he shouted, his voice like metal tearing apart. Open the gate. It's burning. The money is burning me. He can't go inside, Agnes whispered. Then, Obina stopped shouting. He looked up at the window. He looked directly at me. The madness in his eyes disappeared in a second. Nika, he rasped. Run away. He didn't say that to threaten me. He said it to warn me, because behind him, a black car stopped. The car door opens. My mother-in-law steps out. She is wearing a white shirt, pure white, flawless. She went to Obina, who was crouched in front of her like a beaten dog. She placed her hand on his head. You failed, she said. Her voice echoed through the door, clear as a bell. She looked up at the monastery gate. She looked at Agnes. She looked at me. She smiled. The sun failed, she said. So, I will take it back. She raised the stick and hit the iron gate. Boom. The ground trembled. The lights in the monastery flickered, and then went out completely. Sister Agnes was clutching the rosary beads so tightly that her knuckles turned white. The stick collided with the iron door. The light went out, but the darkness was not empty. Outside the gate, the air pressure dropped so low that my ears felt blocked. The silence after the bang of my mother-in-law's stick was heavier than the noise. That is the silence of a breath held back before a scream. Then, the sky shatters. It doesn't start with drizzling rain. It begins like a heavy downpour pounding on the roof, sounding like gravel splashing. But that is not the fresh, pleasant smell of rain. The smell of the river, mud, rotting fish, and deep currents fills the area. She brought the power of the river to the mainland, Sister Agnes whispered. She was not trembling. She reached into her habit and took out a small silver bottle. Holy water. Nika, take the boy to the church. Run.
What about you?
I have to guard the gate, she said, her voice becoming as firm as steel. Go now. I took Chike's hand and ran across the neatly trimmed lawn towards the main church building, in front of the main building of the church. It's raining heavily. It stings my skin like whips. I turned back to look at the gate. Thunder roared. A bright blue lightning bolt streaked across the sky, lasting too long. In that flash of lightning, I saw the end of Obina O'Keefe. My husband is still kneeling on the asphalt, his body covered in sores and with a look of regret. My mother-in-law is standing above him. The rain does not touch her. It separated around her white cloak, as if she were coated with oil. She looked down at her son, who was no longer alive, with no trace of sadness. "You are useless to me," she shouted through the storm. "But you are the key to the door." She raises the stick. One end is sharp metal. Obina looked up. He didn't beg. He just closed his eyes. The stick is deep inside. My husband doesn't shout. He just exhales the very end of his soul. "Blood of the family," she shouted. "Open what has been locked. The debt has been paid in full." She took the stick and approached the iron gate once again. Boom! The heavy iron chain holding the gate broke apart. The iron groaned. "The sacred mark has been broken, not by strength, but by blood." "Agnes!" I shouted. The gate opened. The wind howled, blowing away the small shadow of the gatekeeper. My mother-in-law entered the monastery. She was not alone. Behind her, the rain was falling, and everyone on the ground was following her. Sister Agnes stands alone in the courtyard, dressed in her nun's habit. She held up the prayer beads. "You have no authority here." "Adens," Agnes shouted, using my mother-in-law's real name. "This is God's house." Mother laughs. Her laughter is like water flowing over stones. "God in heaven," she says, stepping onto the wet grass. "But we are on the land, and the land belongs to the mothers." She pointed her stick towards Agnes.